Hey everyone, what's going on? We are talking about SUPERTANK Malphite today. We're going to be going through a build and then we're going to be diving into a replay analysis. And if you want to jump straight to the game, there is a timestamp on your screen and in the description. But I do recommend that you stick around and listen to me talk through the builds and runes because there are two different build paths that I want to talk about. I'm only going to show you one of the build paths in the video, but I do recommend that you try out both of these because they're both good in certain scenarios. Secondly, thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel. There's a reference link in the description below. And third, I know, three things today. I finally got around to doing the giveaway draw on the Pantheon, Leona, and Diana guides. And the footage for that is at the end of the video, sped up a little bit just so it doesn't take up too much time. But essentially, I have given 3 comments on those videos. And you need to respond to the comment if it was you that got picked so I can give you your free skin. That's all I need. Just make sure you respond to me. But the giveaway is at the end so you can see the process. I always like to show the process because I think it's important for clarity. Right, let's talk about Malphite. Boom. Okay. Okay, there are a couple of builds that I think work well for Malphite right now. This is one of them that I haven't yet tested, but I think could be relatively decent. It mainly revolves around the combination of the Sunfire Cape or the Sunfire Aegis and the Abyssal Mask. Okay, so Sunfire Aegis has been reworked. It deals magic damage plus 1% of your bonus HP. So essentially, the more HP you stack, the more damage you do. And essentially, the damage increases by 8% for every stack that you have, stacking up to 6 times. And you get stacks by essentially damaging them with Sunfire Aegis. So over the course of, what, like 6 seconds or so, you're going to build up 6 stacks. When you have max stacks, your attacks burn enemies around you for immolates damage over 3 seconds. So you're essentially doubling the damage and burning them over 3 seconds. So you can do a lot of damage with Sunfire Cape, and it's all magic damage, which is why Abyssal Mask is a good I guess synergy with it. You have max health, which increases the amount of damage that you're dealing with the Sunfire Aegis. You get a bit of mana, you get some magic resistance and ability haste, and again you regen health, you regen mana, but also more importantly, nearby enemy champions take 15% increased bonus magic damage. So the combination between Sunfire Aegis and Abyssal Mask is really strong, but of course that might not be the optimum build path for you because you might want some armor. What I would say is that a lot of the time you can alleviate armor by having the Ninja Tab Eyes as your primary boot, and then either just picking up like a Bramble Vest early on, and that is often enough armor to work with, or you can pick up a Warden's Mail, whatever you see fit. But then obviously you may want to go down a further build path, just slapping some armor in the build like Thorn Mail, like Iceborne Gauntlet, Randuin Zoman. All of them are good armor options, and if you need any more magic resist, of course, Force of Nature is your go-to. In terms of runes, I like these 3 runes that you see at the end. Malphite is very mana hungry, so therefore Mana Flow Band I think is just the best item on the best rune on him in terms of sustain in lane. I like Hunter Titan because that affects Sunfire Aegis, giving you more health, and I like Brutal because I think in general there aren't many good options on this particular. I mean, weakness is okay, but you know, Malphite only does fleeting amounts of CC. So I personally prefer Brutal just for the laning phase. You could go weakness if you're playing more for your team. And in terms of major keystones, there really is only 2 that I think work well on Malphite in the Baron lane. Grasp of the Undying into any melee matchups where you feel like you can actually get a basic attack off without dying. So anything that isn't like Fiora, anything that isn't like Darius, for instance, because you just don't want to melee trade with those types of champions because they'll just beat you. Otherwise, you go for Summon Aerie. Summon Aerie just allows you to deal damage to them with your first ability by spamming it. Often with Summon Aerie, it might be better to go like a Liandry's first item just to get the damage down. But if you want to go full tank, it's still an okay rune. It still does the damage. But Grasp of the Undying is mostly for those melee matchups where you're not afraid to basic attack. And if any of you play Malphite regularly, you'll know that there are a few melee matchups that are a little easier for you to handle. The melee matchups that are harder are things like Gragas, Darius, Fiora, Camille. You know, Camille sometimes, but I'd say Camille's slightly easier to deal with than those. But if you're in a more of a relaxed tank versus tank matchup, or you're versus a Nasus or something like that, Grasp is obviously going to be better. I would say that with the fact that Darius is so popular right now, obviously the Grasp is a little harder to make work because Darius outtrades you most of the time, especially post 5. But you know, Grasp still has its place. So the next build that I want to show you was the Fimbulwinter build. If you don't know what Fimbulwinter does, it grants you ability haste, but also grants you ability haste equal to 1% of the mana spent. Maybe if I just do this, there we go. Equals to 1% of the mana spent. Gives you loads of mana, loads of max health. So it's really just like an item that is designed to give you a load of ability haste, but also Immobilizing an enemy consumes mana and grants a shield for 3 seconds, absorbing 150 damage plus 5% of your current mana for every nearby enemy champion. So let's say you had this plus Frozen Gauntlet and Iceborne Gauntlet. You know, you're looking upwards of like 2,500 mana. You consume 5% of your current mana at, let's say, 2,000. You are granting a 100 shield for every enemy that you hit. So you're granting a rather large shield. Which is pretty significant. So if you're entering a fight on full mana and you're ulting in, you're getting a pretty significant shield out of Fimbulwinter. And of course, then you're building it into something like Iceborne Gauntlet, which gives you a load of extra mana as well, and ability haste. Then Frozen Heart, which is giving you armor, mana, and ability haste, and obviously reducing the attack speed of enemies around you. And then if you need any sort of magic resist, obviously you can go for Abyssal Mask and Force of Nature. You may want to go for those earlier if there are big magic damage threats, but of course, builds on Malphite are generally flexible. I don't know which of the two builds is better overall. I think that I have the inkling that the Sunfire Aegis build is more applicable in most scenarios, but I think this build's quite fun as well, and I think this build is worth testing out. And the replay that I'm going to show you is me using the Fimbulwinter build, because I think it was something that I really wanted to experiment with on Malphite. So without further ado, let's get into that replay and start breaking down the game. Okay, so we're going to go through a recording here. I was versus a Darius, which is why I took the Summon Airy rune in this circumstance, and I took Exhaust. Why did I take Exhaust on top lane Malphite, you ask? I took Exhaust because, I'm actually going to zoom out and I'm going to keep the scoreboard up. I took Exhaust because they had a Katarina, an Evelynn, and a Darius. And so no one was taking Exhaust because the bot lane meta right now is to take heal and barrier. And I thought, well, actually, I'm probably not going to try and kill Darius. If I try and play safe, then I won't need barrier. If I keep Exhaust, then it's much more likely that I'm going to have an impact in teamfights more so with this summoner spell than anything else. So I just thought Exhaust was the correct summoner spell to take in this scenario. I started Sapphire Crystal because I'm going for the Fimbulwinter build, and so therefore I want to stack my Sapphire Crystal as quickly as possible. I want to upgrade that to the Winter's Bite or whatever the bloody item's called, Winter's Breath armor thing, into Fimbulwinter as quickly as possible. I don't win melee trades versus Darius, okay? So, you know, you don't really want to get involved in terms of trading man-to-man versus Darius, because he will just beat you. But I wanted to try to influence him to use his Decimate. Like, I want him to use his Decimate because I want him to hit the minions with it. So that's why I stepped up at the start, because I wanted him to use Decimate, because that allowed him to, like, again, he hit the minions here. I managed to walk away. Don't really take much damage. And the most important thing for me is so that he doesn't freeze the lane. I don't want this Darius to freeze the lane. I would quite like the minions to push towards me as quickly as possible. So yes, I decided this was the best thing for me to do. Now, I missed every single minion. Oh, no, I didn't. I missed 2 minions. That's not too bad. And now I can keep the lane kind of where it is right now. And again, I don't mind walking into one Decimate because I have the shield. The most important thing for me is to just like keep the wave where it is right now. And you can see that I am starting to chip away at him with my first ability. Like, I am just spamming that first ability. Summon Airy, even with no AP, is actually doing work. He is pulling me in. He probably could have been a little more aggressive here. Now, obviously, I've got Exhaust, so I probably would have been able to flash and get away. But, you know, I'm trading pretty well. Once I have my shield up, it's much more effective for me to trade. Like, I just want to, like, spam Q like this, summon Airy, force him back. And, you know, he's going to now, if I look over him, he's going to go take the fruit. But I'm going to back because the wave is reset. So I'm literally just going to back here. I'm going to pick up the belt. So I'm not going to upgrade the tier, because if I look at my Sapphire Crystal, I actually don't think I can look at my Sapphire Crystal. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can. If I look at my Sapphire Crystal, I won't have got 250 mana by now. So there's no point me worrying about upgrading the tier, because again, I'm still stacking the Sapphire Crystal. So it's much more useful for me versus Darius, who is a true damage dealer, to have the Giant's Belt, which is clearly going to give me a little bit of extra health versus him when he has his ultimate up and available. In terms of what's going on the map right now, I'm obviously trying to kind of keep myself in a situation where I want to appear and turn up to the first dragon. Looks like there's a bit of a, I don't know what the hell's going on in mid, but looks there's a bit of kind of like a wonky kind of engage going on in the mid lane. Obviously, Annie got first blood versus the Katarina. Evelynn's able to gank that lane and get a kill back. I am obviously gearing up for 4 minutes being the area where I'm going to move over to the dragon and actually have an impact. And obviously, if I can make sure I don't lose the first tower of the game to Darius, then it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't really need these. I'm just taking them because, you know, I wanted to keep myself healthy, but I missed 3 minions for that, so that was really dumb. Again, it is quite difficult in a lane like this to farm effectively, just because you're constantly getting forced into trades by the Darius. But I think, you know, with my shield, I'm actually winning these trades more often than not. And I've still got the wave frozen just in front of my tower. Now, I don't know why Olaf is on this side of the map. I would much prefer my Olaf to be around the dragon with 15 seconds to go, but he's doing Krugs, so he's kind of on the wrong side of the map for the dragon. But you know, it doesn't matter if they're not gearing up for the dragon. Darius isn't moving right now, then maybe he'll be okay getting there in time. But I'm kind of now in the situation where I do want to think about going towards that dragon. People are pinging it, and it probably would be a good thing for me to back off, pick up Fimbulwinter or whatever that armor is, and actually sort of get involved. But I'm actually going to walk my way over. One of the problems that we've just faced is that the Xayah killed our Misfortune just before the dragon started. Now, it is only Cloud Dragon. Darius is not moving right now. He's just going to go and take that first tower of the game, which is probably the sensible decision. So Darius is just taking the first tower of the game, which is, again, nothing I can do about it because I've kind of committed to the fight here. I'm going to start zoning the Katarina away here. Like, I'm just going to start zoning the Katarina away. Now, we need to take dragon right now. Like, this is the most important thing. We need to take dragon. Like, if we don't take dragon here, we're going to lose first tower, and it's absolutely useless. Now, you can see here the Evelyn was forced to use her ultimate. I exhausted her, so it didn't do any damage. The Katarina just popped her ultimate as well, but she gets knocked out by the Alistair and gets killed. She does trade back onto the Alistair, but it does mean that we get the first dragon, even if it is a cloud dragon. It does mean that my roam was worth it as well. I also picked up some assists. Not the most beautiful early game start, though. You know, as we said, the Darius has now taken my turret for free. Not much we can get away with that. I'm forced to flash out here because they essentially jump over the wall. Both the Braum and the Xayah trying to pick up some kills right at the end here. Luckily, my Misfortune gets out to her turret and we all back off for free. And actually, there isn't really anything that Braum and Xayah can get in retaliation. I now finish up my, what's it called? Let's figure out what, Winter's Approach, guys. There we go. I finish up my Winter's Approach. We are starting to stack this up. As I said, though, generally I found that this thing doesn't stack until around 10 or 11 minutes into the game. Now, there isn't really much point me being in my lane right now. It's already pushing back towards the Darius. So I probably want to be like hovering around neutral objectives, being involved in as many fights as I can across the map, which, as you can see here, is the Braum. And he just gets stunned up by the Annie. I managed to get the kill, which is great. And now we're going to start to be aggressive onto this mid lane tower as a unit, because there's no point me being in the Darius lane. Like, that wave is pushing towards the Darius anyway. Now, he's obviously come up here, which is a really good little move from him. But I just see a really good opportunity to get a nice engage off the back of the Alistair pulverize. Like, Alistair got a huge pulverize. Big knock up. As soon as they hit the ground, I used my ultimate again, and that was easy money for us to go for this Rift Herald. That was a really lovely engage by the Alistair. I get what they were trying to do. I think that would have worked out, but they were doing it into an Alistair and Malphite, and as a Katarina, those are two people that are just going to absolutely slap you. Now, Evelyn went for a very early attempt at the execute with her ultimate, and unfortunately, she doesn't get it, and I pick up the Rift Herald as well. So I now have the Rift Herald, and I can drop that whenever I like. And when I'm going to be planning to drop the Rift Herald is around the next dragon. It's Infernal. I want to create free pressure with that particular item, or I want to create free pressure with that particular what's it called? With that particular objective. So I'm going to drop that probably mid around the time that the next dragon is spawning. I have now picked up a Bramble Vest, and I've got a Winter's Approach. So I've got some armor, and I've also gone for the tenacity, so I've gone for Mercury Treads. Why have I gone for Mercury Treads this game? The reason I've gone for Mercury Treads is there's a Katarina and there's an Evelyn. So obviously, I want to be... having some magic resist in my kit, earlier rather than later. But I've picked up the Bramble Vest to have that extra armor as well. So I've got quite a bit of armor, quite a bit of magic resist, and it's all completely fine. They do go very aggressive onto me. The Darius, unfortunately, overextends just a little bit, and I do die here, as does the Olaf. But we trade one back onto the Darius, which isn't too bad. Plus, there are no major objectives on the map right now. And Annie actually went up to the top lane to go for a dive onto this top lane turret, which they should end up getting for free with Tibbers and Misfortune. So, actually, it wasn't the worst trade in the world, and I will take that. I'm working towards Thornmail, by the way, if anyone's worried. I'm working towards Thornmail because, again, damage, healing reduction against the Katarina, healing reduction against the Darius is important in team fights. So I want to be able to use my ultimate and apply Grievous Wounds ASAP. If we jump back over to me now, you see that I teleported, by the way. The reason I teleported is because I thought that my Annie was in trouble. So I made a split decision to teleport. I probably could have held that. And of course, with the Infernal Dragon spawning, I very clearly wanted to have that available for the Infernal Dragon. So instead of having to push that tower, I'm now going to walk all the way up towards mid lane. And obviously, I'm going to start to hang around this Infernal Dragon because I want to be there before the spawn, realistically. Now, I could just drop Rift Herald now, but I want to drop it as close to the time that the... I want to drop it to as close to the time that the Infernal Dragon is going to spawn as possible, because it's really important that we have the free pressure as soon as the Infernal Dragon has spawned, and allowing us to go for the Infernal Dragon for free. Now, I'm zoning away the Evelynn and the Katarina from this very, very, very hardcore dive going on from the rest of my team. You can see the Katarina is just around the corner here. I'm going to drop this. And you can see now both the Evelynn and the Katarina going very aggressive on me, but I don't mind because I'm fairly tanky. And there comes the engage. We get both the Katarina up, and now I'm going to drop the Rift Herald because I know that it's basically 3 versus 5. They'll have to either deal with the Rift Herald or try and steal the Infernal Dragon. Obviously, as you can see here, Darius thought it was a great idea to dive into the pit 1v5, gets headbutted away, and we kill him. We get the Infernal Dragon for free. Nothing that Xayah and Braum can do to stop that. And even though the Rift Herald is going to get the charge off, he probably won't get the tower unless the Xayah... I mean, the Xayah picked up a kill here. Does he get the tower? He should probably get the tower, actually. Xayah decided to go towards the top lane rather than deal with this Rift Herald. So we get a free tower out of this, which is absolutely fantastic. If you have a look now at the items that I've now got my Thornmail finished up, so I'm going to have that ability to apply Grievous Wounds, which is great. And I'm also very likely going to have to pick up some more magic resist because I don't think a single Mercury Treads is going to do it for me. I would say in general it's probably better to not go Mercury Treads on Malphite, and almost certainly better to just go for the Ninja Tabi, and then you can go for magic resist elsewhere in your kit. But I just felt like for those first few fights, I really wanted to have that extra magic resist ASAP. So we take this tower very, very low, and we end up getting it, even though the Darius and the Braum turn up. And you can see here, Darius just hasn't been particularly hot with his pulls in this game so far. And you can see that the Alistair is taunting, trying to get an engage going right now. In terms of other itemization, the Misfortune looks like she's gone for Blade of the Ruined King into Infinity Edge, kind of an old school standard build. Alistair has gone for the Frozen Heart as his second item because, again, there's a lot of attack speed based carries here. So there is things like the Darius and the Xayah, so both of them are very attack speed focused. And so Xayah's gone for Trinity Force, by the way, which is an incredibly odd build. I really don't get it. It's not like you spam abilities on Xayah, if I'm completely honest with you, and I'm not entirely sold on Trinity Force Xayah. Yeah. I'm now going for what looks to be like Force of Nature because it's Winged Moonplate plus Null Magic Mantle. So yeah, Force of Nature was going to be my third item. Very good versus Evelynn and Katarina because we're obviously wanting to build up stacking magic resist. So Evelynn and Katarina are two champions that, you know, deal persistent magic damage and therefore are going to help you build stacks on your Force of Nature relatively quickly. I love that the Alistair was trying to look for an engage here. Straight on, I follow up with the ultimate. That Xayah literally did not get to play the game. And then we essentially forced the following engage here. This is something that you can do in games really, really well. People, even at Diamond Elo, will just face check. We had vision control of the Baron pit. They thought that we were doing Baron. They panicked. They face checked us. Alistair found the engage. Easy as you like. And yeah, Katarina just can't do much. Katarina can't really do anything versus an Annie, a Malphite, and an Alistair anyway. Like, she's just going to get stunned instantly, either by the Alistair, either by me, or either by Annie. And that's given us enough time to go for Baron, especially with the Katarina being dead. That's one of the main teamfight tools out the window. So I would thoroughly recommend that you don't really go for Baron unless you have this kind of man advantage that you get from taking a fight like this. So this was just, I think, the best Baron play that we could have made. I think one of the biggest things that I see people do in terms of throwing games is going for Baron when they haven't got a serious man advantage, and then the enemy team just turns up and kills you at Baron because you take so much damage from trying to take that objective. So one of the biggest things that you can do is just not do Baron if you haven't got a man advantage. Something that was really annoying here was that the Misfortune decided to come towards the bot lane. I don't know why, because Ocean Dragon was spawning in 30 seconds and I had teleport up. I was kind of spam ping here at this point because I had no idea why Misfortune was on this side of the map. I like, for the life of me, can't figure out why on earth Misfortune thought following me when Ocean Dragon is up would be a good plan. Like, just let me split push. By being here, you are naturally going to draw more enemies than necessary to my lane. Now, that might mean that we get the Ocean Drake anyway, but I don't know why she's still here after getting this turret. Like, she should just go to another lane. I have teleport. I can join the fight. Yeah, so one of the things that I had a problem with here is just I had to flash out. Miss Fortune decided she was still going to stick around. It was really annoying, actually. I don't really know why Miss Fortune thought that was a good idea, but we end up getting the Ocean Drake anyway. Miss Fortune still decides to go up towards the top lane, unbeknownst to me. I'm basically shadowing her because I felt like it was the best thing to do. But I still think this was just a mistake from me. I should have just backed away. I instantly ult the Katarina, who uses her Zhonya's. But Katarina has bought enough time now, and I'm just going to run. Yeah, I mean, I kind of turn up, but I think the Evelyn flashes on me and kills me here. Not much I can do. Oh, wait, I get away with a sliver of HP. Oh, my God, I get away with a sliver of HP. But yeah, Miss Fortune was really running it down. Like, really, really running it down. I have no idea why she was in that lane. She should have just gone towards the rest of the team at Ocean Drake and pushed the other lane. But she was deciding to just follow me into my lane, even though I had teleport. And I was on the opposite side of the map to the objective that we wanted to secure. But alas, this is solo queue. And of course, solo queue is wild in terms of people's decision making. But this is my build now. Should we have a look at my build? It's Fimbulwinter, which is completed now. We have Force of Nature. We have Thornmail. And we have also got Glacial Shroud. Glacial Shroud was intended to go to Iceborne Gauntlet. Alistair already had Frozen Heart, so there wasn't really any need for me to go Frozen Heart because the unique passives do not stack from different sources. So once someone's got Frozen Heart in your team, it's probably better to just go for something else. And so in my circumstance, I was looking to go towards Iceborne Gauntlet for a little bit extra damage. Now I teleport here. I teleport because there's a fight like blowing up in the mid lane. I immediately ult as soon as I teleport onto the front line, and yeah, we get a triple kill. So this basically seals the game for us. We can just push straight down mid. That's why teleports are really strong as well. Like if your team just gets thrown into a crappy situation like that, you can just get into the front of the fight. Especially as a tank, you can get into the front of the fight and immediately start popping off, and that's what I was able to do. I'm really, really, really tanky, really, really strong at this point in time. I'm 4-1 and 11. So I've had a really strong game on the Malphite. We take the inhibitor turret on the bot lane, the inhibitor turret on the top lane, and essentially we are just able to push through with these minions, the full team. Annie goes in on the Xayah, who does end up going down to the Misfortune, and we win the game. I'm going to show you the scoreboard at the end so you can see all the builds. I like to kind of analyze the builds. So I will show you. Yeah, so these are all the builds. This is my build. Alistair went for the Frozen Heart. Looks like did he have a random chain vest? Looks like he had a random chain vest with Zeke's Herald. I'm guessing he was going towards Protector's Vow. Annie had, and this is really interesting, Annie had Infinity Orb, Morellonomicon, which looks like a kind of, honestly, looks kind of like a kind of green book now. And then Void Staff. Olaf had a very standard build, which is Triforce, Sterax, and Death Stance. Misfortune had a relatively standard build of Blade of the Ruined King into Infinity Edge and Rapid Fire Cannon, and then obviously the Last Whisper. Katarina had a very standard build of Gunblade into Infinity Orb into Deathcap. Relatively standard from the Evelyn to go Infinity Orb into Lichbane. Darius went for Triforce into Spirit Visage into Frozen Heart and then also Bramble Vest. Spirit Visage, probably fine, but obviously I had Grievous Wounds application, so was kind of reducing the effectiveness of that. Don't know what in the living daylights that Xayah build is, but we're not going to talk about it. And Braum didn't really have any gold, but went for a standard Zeke's into Protector's Vow build. Cool. Hope you enjoyed the analysis, and I will see you very soon. Malphite's broken, by the way. Bye. Okay, I wanted to do a quick voiceover for the ending part of the video. I did speed up this YouTube comment picker for the Pantheon, Leona, and Diana videos. You'll see the winners. I was desperately searching for the first one. The other two were much easier to find, but I was going crazy trying to find for the first winner. It took a long time to go through that Pantheon video. But I have replied to all three winners, so hopefully they'll be able to reply to me soon and they will get their skins. Sorry it took me longer than I would have liked to get this done. I'm going to be honest with you, I just kept forgetting. It's just one of those things. The guy who won on the second video, by the way, the guy who won on the Leona video, he has got to be the luckiest guy in the world, simply because he's already won a giveaway. You'll notice that Jin won. If you go back and look at my other giveaways, you'll notice that Jin won another giveaway. He's got to be the luckiest guy in the world. He won another giveaway, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, he won the second one on the Leona giveaway, and then also a final winner on the Diana giveaway too. I'll be doing more giveaways in the future, like I always will. The League Partner Program are giving away they're giving away wild cores for influencers, so I'm going to use all of those for giveaways for my subscribers. So all of the free stuff I get from Riot, I'm going to channel directly into giving you guys as much free stuff as I can. Anyway, thank you for guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to leave a like and a sub if you enjoyed.